Welcome, everybody, to the new version of Retro Nerds Rewind podcast. I am Aaron, your host. With me, as always, is my best friend, Sean.
Howdy ho, nerds!
And for the first time ever, we have a guest with us. We've got Rich from Sentai Jackets. Hey, Rich, how's it going?
Good, good. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we wanted to start having some guests on. This is the perfect way to break us in. You're a great guy. I've known you a good number of years. Actually, you know what? Why don't we tell everybody a little bit about your business and how it just kind of started from just a Facebook group.
Yeah. So I've been a big fan of Super Sentai Power Rangers my whole life. Went and started going to the conventions, as you know, WonderCon, some of the smaller ones, PMC being the big one in California. So started doing that. At some point, the toys just weren't really scratching that itch like I wanted it to. As you get older, uh, with certain franchises or fandoms. So I had a buddy Nick who was a military vet who grew up in Japan. And him and I had kind of gotten interested in some of the Sentai jackets, the Bandai ones, um, from the Japanese series. So we started collecting those for ourselves, and then we had some friends that wanted some, so we'd get them for those, because we had a link to the motherland, as you will. And so we started doing that for a few years. Issues with sizing, so the Japanese build. It was a little bit smaller structure than an American person.
Just a little bit. I mean, I think I'm a triple
Yeah,
XL in their
yeah,
stuff for it to be
exactly.
snug. So
Exactly. So we were constantly telling people, we're so sorry, we know you love this character, we know you love the series, but it's just not going to fit you. I mean, you're more than welcome to like frame it or, put it in your closet as a memento, but um, the draw started getting, not as exciting because we just couldn't reach the amount of people we wanted to. Um, and, we're not big guys. I mean, we would be like a extra large, a large, and the Japanese, they don't even make them to that size. So that's where the kind of issue is coming in. So fast forward to the pandemic, I'd always been playing around with this idea of making our own, uh, having some sort of kind of larger range for the fans. And I went to school for fashion product development. I'm out in California, so I had a background in industrial design and fashion.
cool.
And I was like, I could definitely, I think I could do this. So I'd already been kind of researching it, over the years as just a casual fan, screenshots, things like that.
Hmm.
It got to the point where I was like, you know what? Like there was enough time, the whole world had enough time during the pandemic. So I really sat down and just started sketching stuff out, planning things out and seeing if there was a world where I could make something fit an extra small person all the way up to like a 5, 6 XL. Um, and that took a little bit of doing because I didn't want to just make it to make it. I wanted to make it to make everybody look as cool as they could be. And I had a buddy who was an actual 6 XL fit.
Wow.
The minute I put that jacket on him, and he looked just as cool and heroic as everybody I remembered as a kid. That's when I knew we really kind of tapped into something unique. And the response was really, really great. It was a little slow at first, but I think people were a little, like, oh, we don't know about them. And in the PR fandom, there's a lot of letdowns. We've been
Yeah.
treated with like kitty gloves and rolling in the dirt and dusting off, and so I understood why people were apprehensive. So then at PMC 20 or just last year, yeah, so 2024, no, 2022, just
2022.
okay, right. 2022,
Yeah.
that's what it was. So we uh, we debuted, and it was very, very cool.
Yeah.
Everybody was like super excited, and the cast got involved, and they kind of gave their thumbs of approval, and it was just very cool to kind of bring it full circle. So we started off with Rescue Series, which was a really big hit.
Yeah.
That was not my favorite growing up. Wasn't anything that I had kind of had noticed, but when you go to fashion school, they teach you stuff called like trend forecasting. And if you know anything from our parents, we would dress up. We would have '80s day in high school. And she'd be like, "Wait a minute, like that's our stuff. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So now, these kids are having 90s days, and what was popular in the 90s? All the Ranger stuff. So
Yeah.
when it came to doing, Lightspeed, it was a full circle moment because that silhouette and that coat really kind of came full circle on the oversized kind of boxy kind of look that's back now.
Yeah.
So I really kind of took that opportunity to drive that style back and make it for everybody. And the response has been really good. We made the patches interchangeable, as you know. So it was kind of like a 6-in-1 jacket, which is really cool. But I knew that's what we wanted to start with, and then we started going to progressively difficult stuff, which is now where we're at now with Time Series, and it's a much different silhouette than Rescue.
That's for sure.
Way different.
So you said you wanted to do Lightspeed first because of the silhouette and the styles that are going through on there. It's had a really good positive response. I had a friend of mine who actually got one, and she took it snowboarding with her. Have you seen other people try to utilize that and like post things about it yet?
So I'm not just a handful. So most of our clients are warm weather clients, which
Okay.
it's I don't know why that worked out that way, but I live in the Midwest. I actually was on a snowboarding trip with some family, and I remembered I had a prototype in my truck, so I put it on and shot a quick little video, just to kind of prove that it could be used like that. So a lot of other people are doing that now. I've seen people rock it in their own ways with like hoodies underneath. But yeah, I've definitely seen a handful of people utilize it in the way that we intended it to be because it's a real jacket. Um, as we start getting more into different collections, they start to get a little bit more, futuristic, if you will. They're not as real world applicable. And when it came to Rescue Series, we really seen an opportunity to go like, hey, like we can make this with all functional pockets, and we can do this, and we can do that. So I think we really kind of like outdid ourselves on that. And also to the fact where like we've had clients who live in where is it like the desert, like over
A
like
desert, like
yeah,
Phoenix,
yeah, over, yeah, exactly. It's, they were like, dude, it's so warm, and I'm like, well, it's a real jacket. I don't know
right?
what you expected. So we're definitely looking into some other options, playing around with different fabrics and things. But it's just a learning curve for us. Nick and I started off as fans, and we kind of switched, and we're in this kind of like cool role of like dressing people, which it's very cool to see people, um, wearing some of your stuff.
For
So
sure.
it's always been exciting, and it kind of just what drives us to kind of push forward in different collections.
Yeah. So, I mean, being a fan, you said the Rescue wasn't always one of your tops. So let's
Hmm.
just stick with Power Rangers for a second. Which one
Yes.
outside of Mighty Morphin is your top? We'll just go like top three.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Well, top three. I mean, that's a big ask, but my number one outside of NPR would have to be Overdrive.
Okay.
Uh, I don't I don't understand the hate that everybody gives it, but to me, there's there's two bad guys, there's two batches of henchmen. There's the comedic relief. There's a butler that gives you that kind of that sound advice that like everybody Alice from the Brady Bunch gave you. From Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yep.
You know, so you have this through line
Jeffrey.
in that season. Yeah, Jeffrey. So you have this through line. Batman with his butler. So you have this through line. To me, it's just an all around great season. I think a lot of those later seasons, really need to simmer. They for whatever reason they need to steep a little bit longer with the fans. But we're starting to get there. Those will start to kind of come to the forefront. That's my favorite season. That's my jam. So I
Good.
really do like that one. RPM's a great one as well. And SPD. So I just think I like the more futuristic tone ones,
Uh huh.
obviously. I mean they're all great. I know you have an affinity for some Wild Forest, but
I do.
there's a lot of seasons, and that's what I think I love about it is that there's something for everybody, whether it's theme, whether it's a character, whether it's a feeling that an episode gives you. There's just so much where it's so multifaceted and dimensional when compared to like, let's say like you know, the DCU or the MCU, where it's like a one not I don't want to say one note, but it's like it's just Superman or it's just Spider-Man. It's like everyone's
Right.
like, that's my favorite, that's my favorite. So it's a lot of people, grabbing onto one hero's leg where, Sentai and Power Rangers, there's so many that you can really unsung heroes, that can really credit.
For sure. I mean, Overdrive, I'm not one of the ones that give the hate for that series. I enjoyed that series for what it is. It
Mhm.
actually has my second favorite team up
Oh,
episodes
oh
in
yeah,
there
yeah, yeah,
with the Once a
exactly.
Ranger, and because I love them bringing them back, and especially not all the same color. Forever Red is not my favorite actual combo for Power Rangers. So when you bring them all together, it's not. It's actually
Agreed.
number three for me. So my
Oh,
first one is the one
okay.
in Ninja Steel where they brought it back. They introduced the Master Morpher. They had this stuff. I felt it actually deserved a couple more episodes. It had been a
Agreed.
better story. They kind of felt kind of rushed, but I loved how they brought everybody in. Everybody had their lines. They all had they had a decent story to it. Same thing with Once a Ranger. I loved how they brought it in. I loved seeing the morphing grid. I mean, that was great. Going and seeing Johnny and Alpha in there working in the morphing grid at the time, and I mean, that was hilarious. The banter and
Mhm.
stuff. So, but I mean, yeah, I do have an affinity for Wild Force. It it has become one of my more favorite seasons, mostly because of the cast. Having met the
Yeah,
cast, got to
yeah.
spend time with them at the cons, stuff like that. So it's more about that for me. SPD and Time Force are actually my top two as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's great. Yeah, I mean, segue, right? We can go right into that. So you started with Rescue, and
Mhm.
now you've moved. You just announced, what, just like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, you
Yeah,
dropped.
I think it's about 4 weeks ago, just shy of 4 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
you dropped a couple teasers, of course, because you gotta start building up some hype,
Exactly,
and then
exactly.
you're actually doing a full suit for
Yes,
Time Force
we
with,
are.
and I
We
mean, is that
are.
yours or is that JC's badge
So this
there?
is JC's. This is just the prototype. JC's helping us work on the time series edition one. It'll have all the same qualities that JC's does. It'll just we need ours just to be a little bit lighter, just because
For
we're using
sure.
magnets and stuff. But, yeah, so JC is. I mean, we always find opportunities to work with some great makers in the field because JC's he's one of the OGs. He's been there forever, and we have a great friendship. Him, myself, and Nick, and we've done conventions together, side by side over
Yeah,
the years, and
yeah, you guys
just
share
thought
booths
that this
every
was
time I'm there, so I see you guys next to
yeah.
each other.
So luckily for us, we're growing out of the bunk beds, and we're kind of going to be getting some bigger spaces moving forward, which is great. Um, but I thought this was a great time to be able to collaborate with him and have the Henshin Vault name attached to Sentai Jackets because he really does make some really cool stuff. And he makes stuff that he wants that the people want, and I think that's the coolest part of it is that once you can kind of blend those two worlds, and I think that's where I came from with like I really love fashion and I really love the Rangers, and it just kind of like made perfect sense. With JC, he loves hardcore like metal stuff, and that kind of moody, like that reflectiveness of everything. His photography skills are great, so it just kind of made sense to do this. And I'm always looking for opportunities to collaborate with people like JC because it just really strengthens the community, and it just makes it just speaks volumes for both for both brands.
Right?
And it just speaks quality. So yeah, we're really excited about Time Series. It's been quite a bit of work to get it where we want it to be, but yeah, we're very excited about where it's going.
Good. So you said it's going to have magnets on there. Are the magnets going to be built in, or are you going to have them just come behind?
So the magnets are going to be built into the back of it, and that's going to be something that I'm working with JC to finalize the design. It'll be more military-ish,
Okay.
so it'll have a backing in the back. And the only reason we did that is we didn't want to really mar any of this future fiber that we're using because you know if you start piercing holes through your armor,
Oh,
it's never good. It's
yeah,
never
no.
good.
I was thinking maybe have like a piece on the inside that like a little zipper piece there that you could put the magnet piece so it would stay there. So that way when you're moving around, maybe it doesn't pop off.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a small pocket back there, so it
Perfect.
can catch anything. I was in the military for about 6 years on active duty, and the worst part was dropping the backing into your tucked-in shirt.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we definitely thought about all those things. This one is not as how do you say it's not as real world as
Okay.
you, just based on it's like a very futuristic design.
Yeah.
And so we're just kind of we're updating where we can, improving where we can, and yeah, we're just kind of going with it. But it's definitely a little out of our bounds. But we're this is what Sentai Jackets does. We tackle the untappable.
Well, it looks fantastic. Like,
No, thank you, thank you.
it's so cool looking, and I don't. I'm sure our audience probably heard the audible gasp I made when that came out. Just the presence of it is fantastic.
Thank you, thank you. It's a little shiny, but that's what we were going for. And it's really tough to kind of make it look as cool as you remember, and that's the hardest part. So you're tricking your 10-year-old brain into thinking that you are as cool as you thought you were. And little stuff like that doesn't it definitely helps. So
Yes. Are you going to have a series for yourself made of those to be able to go with it?
sorry, you're talking about the wrist
Yeah, not
devices?
a
No,
non-functional one that maybe for the cosplay community out there.
you know what? We've thought about doing stuff like that, but it this isn't really our expertise,
Like,
when it comes to the grid technology, So we really stick to the soft goods, that. But however, there is something I am working on, and I'm hoping to announce it closer to the actual like shipment of
okay,
these. But yeah, it falls in the realm of hardware,
okay,
not a more not anything like this. But I think when people see what we're working on, I think they'll be excited. And I'm hoping to include it as a surprise. So we'll see how that goes. But,
nice.
you guys, once we clear it, I'll definitely you guys will get the first you get the first sneak peek of it
Oh,
to share on your accounts.
appreciate that for sure.
Yeah,
That'd be
absolutely.
awesome. Yeah,
And
thank
I
you.
saw you got the gem. That's the gem
Oh
for it
yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah. So we released those because I was always looking for kind of some cool accessories to go uh, with some things. And this was something that I'd worked on years ago, and we decided to put them on our website well before we even thought about time series being an option. So this is Trips Zyber and Crystal, and these are available on our website. I think we have like the female ones for like I think it's like 11. The bigger ones are a little bit more, but they're reusable. They're very cool, and they really pull together the outfit if that's what you're going for. So yeah, and I would like to think that in the multi-universe that there's more aliens that have this, that are in the uniform as well. So
That'd be
it's a
great.
very cool look, and I think it's a very casual cosplay for people because, as you know, when you go to these conventions and you got the spandex on and everything, and it just
I
it gets a
can't
little
I
hard.
can't do the spandex. One obviously we live in Arizona, so
Mm.
stuff with spandex is not the smartest when our main convention is Memorial Day weekend or a couple weeks after that in the beginning of June. And yeah, exactly. I mean,
Exactly.
thankfully it's not as bad as, and I truly feel for the people that cosplay. I love them to death that do, especially the ones that like go like Dragon Con next weekend in
Mhm.
Atlanta when it's going to be, the humidity is out the wazoo over there. I mean, Sean and I have been there. We know what it feels like there. It's just, it can be bad. Um, but I mean, people who are really into that love that. I give them all the props in the world. Love it. I just can't always do it. I got to have my AC, and
You're a smart man.
and
You're
I
a
love the
smart man.
jackets. I mean, I've Big Power Ranger fan. Loved all the jackets. Sentai fan. The only one though, unfortunately, that I ever can fit into is Daigo's from uh, um, Kyoryuger. You know, because it's a
Yeah.
vest, so I don't have to worry
Hmm.
about sleeves, but tightening and tearing on me.
Speaking of S, we're definitely we have some other things in the works,
Oh,
which I think you'll definitely like. But I don't want to get too into it. But we're definitely, obviously, we've wanted this stuff for decades now. So
mm-hmm.
I think we're in, Nick and I are in a very very cool position to be able to work on some things and make them like the best that they can be, which is really important to us. My biggest thing in design school, I was always frustrated with people that would do a concept drawing, like a cool concept car or something, and it was so great. And then by the time it actually hit the building block, it was a shell of what it should have been.
Right.
And that really bothered me. So I really like everything I put on paper, I really wanted to translate even better in person. So that's where I'm at. But speaking of the jackets, I mean, you can really like to wear it casually. I mean, we see it in all the seasons that, sometimes they're cinched up and sometimes they're just, kind of just down and out. So, and it really just translates to real life. So that's, you can wear this to, go to dinner after the convention with all your friends, go to the movies, with your other. So I think that's the fun part about the whole aspect of, cosplaying. There's different degrees of uncomfortability that you can be in.
So speaking as I'm not a huge cosplayer, but I do have my costumes. I do have a couple of pieces, and speaking to your point there, that's exactly what it is. Like some days you're in full head to toe get up, and you're dealing with that sweltering heat here in Arizona, and then the next day you still want to be in sort of something, but a little bit more on the casual side. And I think that like that jacket is perfect for it. Like
Yeah.
that's there's a couple of properties that you can do that kind of thing with, and I think that just hits the nail on the head.
There's
But
pants
yeah,
for
we,
it
we
too, if I
really
remember
try.
right. Right.
Yeah, so the cool thing about this is our first, this is Sentai Jacket's first full uniform. I mean, Jackets isn't our name, but we really, really wanted to push love with this one and really kind of give people what they had always been wanting. Um, so the jacket and the pants actually, in the series, I don't know if you remember, but it almost looks like a jumpsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how does that do that? Why does that look as cool as that jacket does? But then there's a couple, photos where like, they're wearing open. I was like, does it look like that? So was it two different designs? Like, what do they do? And I realized that I could make the pant and the jacket zip together the waist and actually form this really cool jumpsuit if, the wearer wants to wear it like that. So I don't know if I will be wearing it like that because it is, it's a look. I think, I think for a lot of people, it really scratches that itch that they've always wanted, and I would have felt awful if I just got to the mark and I didn't push it, and it took a lot longer to design and make it that way. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. Nick's really happy with.
So about the pants, okay. So
Mhm.
sizing for a tall person like myself with things is usually always an issue whenever I go places. I am roughly a 40 by
Okay.
36. How
Okay.
would someone like myself order the pants on yours?
Yeah, so the way that this uniform actually works, the jacket and the pants have to be the same size because the way that they connect, it has to be seamless.
Okay.
Um, excuse me. So what gives you that snatch look is really the belt that kind of like takes you in. Um, so we do have all the measurements listed on the description, so that's probably the best way. But what I've actually realized is that a lot of calling them like first wave clients, the ones that really that picked up Rescue Series. If you go one size bigger from your Rescue Series size, it's a perfect fit because this one, as you can see, has a very slim look to it. It just kind
We'll,
of
we'll call it
cups
snugger.
everything. Snugger, yeah. It really does give you that V shape with the wide shoulders. And then we got this. There's a really nice shoulder padding that we put in here, just like it was back then. So there's a lot of there's a lot of confusion on the fit, but I think when people start getting them in and putting them, on together, they'll be like, okay, this makes sense. But yeah, don't be worried about the pants. The bottoms can always be taken up just like any pair of dress pants if you needed to. Yeah, I think your inseam is perfect, and I think once you see the sizing, you'll be like, okay, that's my size right there.
Nice.
So I know that you guys have been hard at work at on these Time Force, but what does the future hold for you as far as future Power Ranger, Super Sentai? Like, what's on your wish list that you would love to
Ooh,
tackle?
ooh. Well, there would, I mean, a dream piece that I've always wanted to do, and this is just, I think, just kind of me daydreaming. Um, I would have loved to do Doggy Kruger's leather jacket,
Yes.
just
Yes.
because, just because it's so. I mean, when you look at him, I feel like he feels really solid, his head, like the whole thing, and the jacket just really always kind of struck a chord with me. And I really did like that one. So I think that would be a dream piece to design, but that's a lot of leather. That's a lot, I mean, what is he, like 7.5 feet tall, 8 feet tall? So,
Roughly, yeah, roughly around 8. Yeah.
so I may have to, downsize it a little bit for the average Joe. That would be a dream piece. That would really be a dream piece.
He used the Big Show as a model. Probably would help you with that.
Yeah,
Paul
yeah, I
White.
could, yeah. I could, yeah. I feel like you might have a connection to him, so we'll talk later about
I'd love to, man. I mean,
it. Yeah.
myself, I've always been a big wrestling fan. Just grew up watching it, and so I enjoy it. Whenever I try to, whenever they come here, especially now with my kids, get them
Mm,
out there, see the show, or we try to hit up. I know people are always like, "Oh, don't go to the airports. People hate it when you do that." Well, no, they really love it if you're an actual fan. What they hate is people
mhm.
who come up with a stack that thick of pictures or a whole suitcase full of pops. You know, I come up
Yeah.
there with Andrew, and they're all about giving him hugs, take pictures. I don't even have him sign anything
Mm,
normally. It was great last year. Actually, one of our friends, we couldn't make it. He took a birthday card for Andrew because his birthday was like a couple weeks later, and had all these wrestlers sign the birthday card. And so
that's
Andrew's
cool.
got that. We kind of took it away from him. He's only 7. We took it away.
Oh,
We're putting it in a piece for him, so that way he'll be able to look at it later and see all the autographs because it's
enjoy it.
inside and backside. And there's people on there that don't sign for anybody, but because it was a
Mm,
birthday card with that others had signed for a little kid, they were happy to. So
that's
I'm not going to
perfect.
say who
And
because I don't want anyone else trying to do that for this person, but
I will say, so wrestling for me, I mean, I was aware of it. I remember watching, it here and there, but I had friends that really this happened to be not my thing. But I will say the unsung heroes, you know, the WCW, WWF, all those franchises are the costume designers,
Oh,
the
for
guys that
sure.
make the guys and girls that make their costumes. I mean, week after week after week. I mean, the stuff that they get to make is so cool. We've seen the whole gamut. I mean, one of my favorite ones, and this is, but as a Jake Paul or one of the Paul brothers,
Logan
like he had
Paul.
a really cool. Logan Paul had a really cool outfit. So they really do push the limit for when it comes to men's fashion. I know that sounds crazy, but I worked in retail growing up pretty extensively in high school, and I would always see the same stuff come in for guys year after season after
Yeah.
season. And I was like, oh, and it got me turning to like looking at the female stuff because I was like, man, their jeans they're doing some really cool stuff with their jeans, or, the pattern. So it was just I felt like there was always this like guys were always stuck in this like blue jean t-shirt type of a world. And I was like, how do you make it cooler? Ergo Sentai Jacket. I mean, so
Heck
like
yeah.
I just had to enter it in because it's there's something to be said about it. I think that we should be living in cooler stuff right now. I mean, I get comfortability. Every once in a while, like I'm not a suit and tie guy. But this stuff is a little bit different, and it pulls on the nostalgia and the heartstrings. And it's very cool, and I even don't mind being seen walking down the street. So
Yeah. One wrestler you may want to see if you could reach out, maybe learn some things from her, is Bianca Belair. I don't know if you've
okay,
heard or anything.
sounds familiar. Sounds familiar.
She to this day, she's one of the top female wrestlers in WWE. Makes her own ring gear. Has all
Oh,
herself, does her
whoa.
own designs, goes through it all. So I mean, I know in the past she's done. I'm pretty sure she's done some like videos out there talking about how she does her
Mhm.
stuff. So it might be something to look into
Yeah,
because it works well with your love of fashion and design stuff like that. So
absolutely. And the
uh,
quality that goes into stuff like that,
oh
you know,
yeah,
you really have to make it, you know, so it doesn't tear or snap, you know, snag because for runaway stuff, you can really just pin stuff or staple it, you know, it's just gonna look good for 30 seconds, you know, and fall apart.
hmm
But when you're making stuff for, you know, friends and you know, clients and stuff, you really it's gotta be, or even yourself doing that, it's gotta be perfect.
right.
So I can respect that. I can respect that.
So I mean, outside of Power Rangers and Super Sentai, is there any other shows, cartoons, movies that you'd
Mm.
love to, excuse me, love to make jackets or outfits
Oh,
for your
Great question.
fans out there?
that's a great one. I, you know, I know all the big ones, you know, like, you know, that people would want me to say, but those really, I don't have really any, they just don't really, they don't scratch that itch for me. One franchise that I really, really enjoyed, that not many people know about is the 2013 reboot of Max Steel. It was,
Okay.
yeah, it's a deep cut. It was, I believe that they commissioned it for Netflix. It was a reimagining of Steel, which has been around since the, I think, 80s or 90s. It's
Right.
the big, big hero in Latin America. And they rebranded it, redid it for Netflix. And it was a very, very cool, like futuristic blues and silvers and whites. And I would watch it all the time. And then they just, you know, with anything with digital media, they just take it away from you. It was never released on physical media. There was a movie that came out based on this show, a live action movie that didn't do too well, and it was a little different than the show, but
hmm
it kept in the same spirit. And so that would be one I would love to do a Max Steel jacket. That would be really cool.
Nice.
So yeah, a little bit of a deep cut there.
Hey, you know what? We're all about that.
That is
Mm.
literally our format.
Yes. And let's go a little further into those deep cuts. What were some of the shows that inspired you as a kid?
Ooh, I mean, we grew up with TGI Friday. You know, we really grew up with like I think the peak of you know '90s sitcom television. You know, Step by Step. You know, all those really great shows. Full House. But ones that really stuck out to me were we grew up watching. My brother and I shared a room, and we'd always fall asleep really late watching Nick at Night.
Okay.
So there's a lot of those older shows like so C was a really big one for me. Like I loved to growing up. I actually just recently watched it. And I thought all of the storylines and the writing really just kind of held to this day. As wholesome and as good natured, and uh, so that was a good one. I really enjoyed. mm, let's see, Brotherly Love. Those are great ones. But one that really stuck with me was Boy Meets World and Wonder Years, because those were like that perfect like adolescent like you know they were Boy Meets World didn't have it, but Wonder Years had that kind of like internal monologue, you
Yep.
know, throughout and I was like, that's what I'd be. Oh, you know, and I think I watched my nephew who's you know, he's about 10. He doesn't have any kids, you know, and so he's out there just figuring it out himself. And I'm like, no, man, it shows that, you know, walk you through this, you know, the first kiss and then, you know, this and, you know, getting put into a situation you don't want to be put into, you know. So, but yeah, Boy Meets World was a great one because it grew up with us, you know, it grew up with me. So I think I can't remember how many seasons it ran, but they were in college,
hmm
and then you know then there was a spinoff, you know, Girl Meets World. So yeah, for me that was Boy Meets World was a really big one.
Good. Yeah. I mean, I've always loved that show. That show. Pretty sure Sean does too.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. I also loved that TGIF lineup. Boy Meets
Mhm.
World being like we started rewatching a couple episodes, and that's on Disney Plus with my kids, and the '90s, man. Uh, that's all I'll
Yeah,
say about that. But
yeah.
it's been entertaining. It's still entertaining,
Mhm.
and it definitely hits differently now that I'm older.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, and I've got
They.
I've got 2 younger kids. They both enjoy watching it, as well as Girl Meets World. My daughter loves watching Girl Meets World because she's 10, so she's starting to relate to a lot of the stuff that's going on in it, especially in the early seasons of it. So it's just fun being able to share that stuff with them. A lot of the times when we do this, we watch an episode of a show, and I tend to try to watch it with them, depending on what it is, whether I want them to want to watch more of it or not afterwards. Like, I thought I got away without having to watch Sailor Moon when we did our Sailor Moon episode, and then Elaine's friend started watching Sailor Moon Crystal, and now we're going through that.
Oh.
So
Full circle.
yes. Cody is well pleased. So
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I know I didn't get a chance to mention it. Cody and Jamal are our 2 other former hosts that were on here. They'll come back from time to time. I know some people might be wondering where they are right now. They actually moved to Thailand. We did talk about that a little bit in our live version that we did at Phoenix Fan Fusion a couple months ago that we put up on here. And they wish us nothing but love on this, and same thing to them. We want them to be, continue growing and being happy and healthy couple out there in Thailand, and have fun, and hope they enjoy listening and can come back on when they've got a chance. So
Yeah.
I know they are out there living their best life, and we're very supportive of that. And
yes,
yeah, I hope the same thing. I hope they come back every once in a while and say hi, and wish them best of luck out there.
You could have your own reunion episode, like Forever Red. It could be like Forever Nerd or something.
Forever Nerd. I was just, yep.
Be full.
So, all right. Well, you know what? I know we've taken up a good amount of your time already, so let's go ahead and just wrap this up real quick. What would be your top 5 shows overall that you think people, our listeners, should go back and hit rewind on?
Oh, that's a very good one. I wish I would have. Oh, but TV shows. I definitely would say. TV shows. Okay, so let's do. I definitely say Taxi's got to be up there. It's a great. I mean, through line, and here's the thing. There's a lot of those people that are on that show. That's where they got their start, and there's like. They're some of the people you want. Danny DeVito, so Taxi would definitely be one. Wonder Years for sure. If you're a young man or you have a son, or, trying to figure things out. Let's see. Oh, Home Improvement.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That's a classic. I realize I get a lot of my comedic timing from that, which some of the women in my life are like. So that pretty much tracks. Let's see.
Do you have a Binford sewing machine?
I do not.
You could make it. I mean, someone that could make you a thing for it.
This is true. I'm saving up for it now. The other one, The New Girl.
Okay.
The New Girl.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that it's just got a lot of like good, comedic timing and zingers. And the last one I'd have to say is probably, oh man, this is going to be tough. Last one I'd have to say is probably, give me a second. Probably would have to be, oh man, because I don't want to leave anybody with like something less than, I want to give them like the best. I'd have to say, it's a big ask, but Family Guy.
Family. Okay.
Yeah, but that's. I mean, you're talking about how many seasons, and but I had a roommate that we would just quote. Oh my God, we lived together for like 9 years. I mean, there was never a lack of Family Guy quotes. So that was always good. But there's many more than that. But as a good time to start off with.
Perfect. Well, thank you for your time. Actually, you know what? We talked a little bit about Boy Meets World earlier. Our next episode is us rewatching Boy Meets World. If you've got a little bit more time, would you be up for staying and talking about it?
100%. I'm locked in.
Perfect.
Oh, awesome. That'd be great.
Yes.
Yeah.
So until next time, everyone, I'm Aaron, got
I'm
Sean,
Sean.
and Rich.
And this Rich.
And Rich.
Sentai Jackets. You know what, Rich, real quick, tell everybody where they can get your stuff.
Yeah, so if you guys want to check out SentaiJackets.com, it's SENTA jackets.com. We are across the board. X, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We have a Tumblr still. Yeah, so just check us out on that, and feel free to reach out. And you can talk to myself and Nick, and we love talking to you guys. We're we're big fans, and we just do this because we love it.
Perfect. So yeah, go check them
Relate
out.
to that, yeah.
SentaiJackets.com. Go on, hit them up on Facebook. Hit us up on Facebook. Retro Nerds Rewind. If you need the link out there, we will share it as well. And yes, take a look at their Time series and the Lightspeed series, Rescue series, excuse me, Rescue series jacket that they've got out there, and all the accessories for that, all the different patches, and yeah. Until next time, we hit rewind.
Rewind.